Being a climber and pursuing overall fitness, pull-ups and hangs are a real critical piece of your fitness arsenal. And as you can see, I've got all sorts of different things I've tested out over the years and made. Which ones work best? Each one of them has trade-offs, good and bad. So I'm going to go through them to give you a general sense of where to invest your money, depending on what you're interested in and what your setup is. So let's get to it. First of all, if you have a garage that you can work out where you got rafters, rings are probably your best answer. They can move around a little bit laterally, but overall you can get a good solid grip on them. And they're relatively inexpensive. I actually made these during COVID because I couldn't find rings, and they're made out of PVC 90-degree pipes. I'll post a how I made these video down there and up there. But not everybody has in their house rafters or something that they can attach this to. So you got to go with some other options. This is the one I've had the longest, probably about 6 or 7 years. It's an Amazon Basics. I don't even know if they sell it anymore. It's a fairly standard configuration. The one drawback here is it can mess up your molding. And I've got a demonstration video that I'll be publishing here shortly where I show all of this stuff in action. Depending on how wide your doorway is, this may not work. I'll post one down below that I think works better than this. It has the possibility of extending out to give you more chances of having a nice firm contact. The great thing about this, goes up in there in the door frame, sets in seconds, takes down in seconds. My experience is pretty solid and safe, works great. This is another option. Here's the door frame here, and you can just lock it in there like that. The only problem is that there's door frames, especially double doors, where this is not wide enough, so you can't get in there. I got this kind of as a travel approach. I mean, you can travel with this as long as you got a car and throw it in the trunk somewhere. This one is a little heavy, but it may fit in your suitcase. This one definitely will fit in your suitcase. You can go outside, use a tree, if that works too, but not every day is good for pull-ups outside, at least where I live. This one was interesting. You kind of roll it out and it has a certain range, but what I found is these things damage the heck out of the walls. In the demonstration video, I go into a lot of details about how much damage this can do. Now, if you have a steel frame in a dorm room, you're probably okay. You got to tighten it down so much that it doesn't slide down when you put the weight on it. You're going to deform things if you're not careful. I'm surprised they just don't sell this kit with some sort of ledge that you can put up against the door, and that would really take the load off and make this more effective. But it's fairly portable. It can also be used as an extender for additional coat hanger depending on how big your closet is. As far as positions go, you've got a grip here on either side, a grip here on either side, so you can go like this or you can go like this. This grip right here is my favorite. I kind of like that the best. For this one, you got an advantage and a disadvantage. The advantage is you can mount this up like this and you can kind of pivot your arms as you move, so that's good. But this also spins. My personal experience is I get to about 50 seconds and then it starts doing that, and then all of a sudden my hand is here and it's really hard to hold on to. If I'm going for time, I'm probably not going to use this one. Go out to a side, to a kid's area or a park area. A lot of times they have pull-up bars. That's the ideal state. Or out holding on and hanging on to a tree. My area, the weather doesn't always support going outside and doing that. I mean, it's raining, it's snowing, it gets miserable. I've been trying to figure out ways of extending my grip time, hang time, and I found these for lifting weights. The thought being that you put these on, tighten them up, and you're kind of transferring some of the force to your wrist, kind of like a gymnast does. They really kind of help out in a situation like this, so there's less turning. But what I found, it made your wrist really uncomfortable, and you had to have them really tight. They didn't work out as well as I thought. They were about $15. You might want to check them out if you're interested. One thing I would do though, and I strongly encourage, is getting some sort of gloves. I've got weight gloves, bike gloves. I tried those. Bike gloves and weight gloves come up to here, to the first knuckle. When you're gripping onto something, I don't know about anybody else, but when I'm gripping onto something for a period of time, I'll get like lines in my hands. It's very painful. Being a former sailor, I knew all about these 3/4 gloves, and they are fantastic. You could use them for biking, but I think they'd be a little uncomfortable. In that case, for biking, fingers are too long. It's called 3/4 gloves, and you can actually buy some of these that have gloves all the way, but I kind of like the tactileness of having at least this part of my fingers exposed. You've got a nice little grippy area here, a little bit of cushion, which actually makes it better. In my case, I've got bigger palms, smaller fingers, and when I come in like that, it actually gives me a little better grip than with a bare hand. And it helps me hold on. I've been doing up to 3 minutes a day working out. And I started out at 3 1-minute intervals. Let go, walk around, shake the hands out, maybe do some other exercises. 2 or 3 minutes later, come back, rip up again, and do another minute. But then, I think I can do a little more than that. I decided to change up and do the 3 minutes total in 2 segments. One, I'm going for max grip, max time. I'm getting up to minute 40, minute 45 seconds where I can hold on. And I'm trying to extend my grip out to 2 minutes or more. And that means my second round, I'll make up the difference. A minute 15, try to do a minute 20. And believe it or not, after you've done a minute 45 shaking your hands out, go do some other exercises, come back 3-4 minutes later, maybe 5, depending on how the day's going, you can do that finish grip for a minute 15, minute 20, and it doesn't seem so bad. So I'm going to build up my grip strength. Ultimately, I'd like to get out to 3 minutes, maybe more, but we'll see. Alright, just a quick video on all these different things. I've invested a lot of money. I know people are out there buying things of all sorts. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of information and insight so you can spend the money the most effectively that you can. Bottom line, after using all of this gear and kit, probably the $25 solution, it's notionally around $25, is your best home kit. If you're spending a lot of time outside, go with the rings. If you don't want to make the rings, I'll post an option down below. That's pretty reasonable and will probably last you a lifetime. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in the evaluations of all sorts of sports gear, designs of all kinds, making and breaking things, I do home repairs, develop sports gear and photography equipment. I even do costumes, cosplay, and props. Check out my channel and please subscribe, because you never know what kind of sports gear you're gonna see.